Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. In today's video, we'll learn about what is Jenkins file and why it is important to use Jenkins file in all of your code that you are using in Jenkins. So let's start our today's video. Okay, so in today's video, we'll learn about Jenkins file, some introduction related to Jenkins file first, and then we'll see how we can create Jenkins file. Post completion to that, we'll see how we can set up a job in Jenkins that will use Jenkins file as a code. And once that is done, then we'll see how we can enable polling in Jenkins. It is similar to the one we have created in our previous video, that was a webhook creation, but this is another way in order to get everything automated without clicking on build now button. Okay, and then we'll see everything as a practical demo in that. So guys, what is Jenkins file? Let us firstly understand what Jenkins file is. So Jenkins file is basically a text file always named started with J in uppercase that contains basically the definition of a Jenkins pipeline and is checked into the source control. Like in our case, we were using GitHub, so it will be checked in into GitHub. So in our previous videos, what we were doing, we were creating a pipeline, but we were just pasting the code in the pipeline script section of Jenkins. But now we'll create a file and then we'll place a code, and that file will stored on source code repository. That is GitHub in our case. So next thing comes in mind is that why Jenkins file is known as pipeline as a code. So we keep all our source code in source code repository. Like in our case, our complete source code related to sample application and Tomcat that we are going to use will be available on source code repository. And now Jenkins file will also be stored on GitHub, which is basically a source code repository. So now our pipeline is also residing as a code on source code repository, not in Jenkins job. That's why we are calling it as a pipeline as a code job. So now what is the benefit, why we are basically using this Jenkins file, and what are the benefits of this Jenkins file? Let's just study that. So Jenkins file is stored on source code repository. So versioning is maintained here. So what is versioning basically? Suppose if you have put your code on any notepad or somewhere else, and if you just delete it, then there is no tracking that who deleted and what is happening to that code. But when we have any file on our source code repository, in order to make any addition, in order to make any modification, any deletion, any addition, so we need to just make that file trackable first, and in the form of versioning we need to provide a commit message along with a push command. Then only those changes will get reflect to our file. So in that way, everything is getting keep track that who is doing this modification to the file and at what time these modification has been done. So everything is keeping tracked on source code repository. That's why it is beneficial. So the main benefit is the same, because if any changes is happening to your Jenkins file, then all of them are tracked in the form of version. Second, if we keep pipeline code in Jenkins job, then if anyone changes that code, then there will be no tracking. And if we delete that job, then pipeline code will also delete along with that job. So in that case, we'll be in risk as code is not with us. And if accidentally we delete that job, or suppose if we found out that this job is of no use, so let's delete it. So once we'll delete, then code will also get deleted. So this is main benefit of Jenkins file. And in case of all live projects, and in case of any project that anyone is doing in any company, so we only use this Jenkins file concept in order to keep our source code, or we can say in order to keep our pipeline code as a code on source code repository. Okay, so next section is how we can create our Jenkins file. So I have also discussed the same in my previous videos, but those who are new and those who are seeing this video first time, so I'm just giving a brief introduction of the code that we are going to use in our today's example. So this is basically the Jenkins file code. So it is a pipeline code in a declarative format. So here we just need to create a pipeline, and then we need to declare agent any if we are running it on the same master machine. Then we need to declare stages, and inside stages we have stage, and in stage we can define a particular stage that we are going to do with our code. So in our code we'll be having first stage as a checkout code. So we'll be checking out code from source code repository first, and then we'll install Maven build tool. This is basically a Java tool which will work on pom.xml file. So everything is provided from the development team side, the complete source code. We just need to perform some Maven commands in order to build that application. Then we'll compile that application and test that application, and then we'll deploy that application to Tomcat. So in the very first stage we'll do a checkout piece. Second, we'll install Maven tool. Third, we'll compile the sample application code, which is basically a Java code using mvn compile command. And then we'll use a stage of testing application, and in that stage we'll just use the same command mvn test to the same compiled code that has been done in the previous stage. And post completion of testing we'll using packaging command, that is a mvn package command. So this command will create package, which is basically an EAR or war file. In our case it is a war file, and this will be done on the tested build. Once that is done, then we'll install Tomcat. So for installing Tomcat, firstly we need to install the prerequisites that are required for Tomcat. So these are basically the command in order to do the prerequisite of Tomcat, which is basically installation of Java. So that we'll do by using these command. So this complete code I have explained in my previous video. Step by step I have also created this particular pipeline code. So if anyone is having any doubt, those who can refer to that video. So that video will give you an overview of this complete code, step by step creation of this pipeline. Okay, once this is done, we'll install Tomcat server. So these all are the commands that we are going to use in Tomcat server. And one thing, that Tomcat and Jenkins by default both run on the same port, that is 8080 port. So here I have used sed command in order to change 8080 port to 8081 port, and we'll change this particular port in server.xml file of Tomcat server. This file basically comes when we install Tomcat. So we'll edit this file with this particular command. And there are two other files that we are going to use in this example for Tomcat, is tomcat-users.xml and context.xml. So these two files also need some addition. So I have just did that edit piece, and I have shared these files on my source code repository. So we'll use these files directly from there, and we'll replace these files with the original files. And once Tomcat get installed, then we'll deploy the sample application to Tomcat server, which is basically the war file that will get generated. We'll copy that war file, and we'll copy that war file to this webapps directory of Tomcat binaries. And once that is done, then we'll restart the Tomcat server in order to make the changes reflect. Okay, so these all commands we'll use. So these commands I have explained in detail in my previous video, so just refer to that video if anyone is having any doubt. Okay, so now we'll see how we can create this Jenkins file. So we'll use this git bash editor in order to create firstly the Jenkins file, and then we'll place our code in Jenkins file. If anyone is not aware about GitHub or this git bash, how to install it and how to use it, so I have created a separate video for GitHub and git bash, so just refer to that video. Okay, so firstly we'll create a Jenkins file. Okay, so firstly we'll create this Jenkins file with the name Jenkinsfile, where J will be in caps, and we'll use this VI editor in order to make this particular file opening. So firstly, actually we need to use a command, touch command. So we'll create firstly this file, and then we'll open this Jenkins file. Okay, once this file is created and we have pasted our code, then we need to track this file with the help of git add dot command. So now this file will get tracked. Post completion of that, we need to commit this particular change. So we'll use git commit -m command, and this is basically the comment that we need to provide. This comment is mandatory so that everyone who is having access to GitHub to see that what particular comment has been put by any user, if he is making or she is making some changes to this particular file. Okay, and once this commit piece is done, then we'll use a git push command, and once this is done, then our file will go to GitHub portal. So here you can see that our file will be visible in this way on GitHub portal, and the comment that we have given during commit, it is also visible under this section. Okay, so in this GitHub portal, we can see that the comment that we have added is coming here also, and this is basically the commit ID that has been generated for this particular commit. So this is basically the benefit of Jenkinsfile, that it is keeping tracked on GitHub portal with the help of this commit ID. Once we'll click on this commit ID, then we can see that what has been happened to this particular file or what has been done in this particular recent commit. So once we'll click on this commit, then you can see the same message is coming here. Jenkinsfile is created, and here we can see that commit ID here, and it is seeing that this has been committed at this particular 9 minutes ago. So it is keeping track of time also, and it is also saying showing one changed file with 61 additions, 0 deletions. So it is also stating that there are only 61 lines has been added to this file, and there has been no deletions. So in this way, this file is keeping track, which was missing in our previous example, where we were just putting the code in Jenkins pipeline script and there was no tracking of that code. So now our code is here, and if anyone accidentally or any without any reason want to delete this particular file, then he or she needs to put a commit message here, and then only this file will get deleted. So we'll not be able to delete this file accidentally until unless we have some reason to get it deleted. But in our desktop, if we are keeping it locally, we can delete it if we are if we are cleaning our desktop or if we are cleaning some folder, then somehow we can lost our that notepad where we have our code written. So in this case, we are now much secure in case of code, that this file is now present pipeline as a code on our source code repository, and this will not get deleted accidentally. Okay, so once this is done, then we need to create our Jenkins job. So we'll click on new item on Jenkins. Okay, then we'll give the name of the project. We can give any name here. I usually use test name, so I'll going to use the same name, and then we can select pipeline, and then we can click OK. So similar procedure we were using in our previous example also, but there is one change that I'll let you know. So here we just need to go to configuration section, and in the definition, previously we were selecting pipeline script option here, but now we are selecting second option, that is pipeline script from SCM. Then we need to select git, then we need to provide our git repository URL here, and then it's a public repository, so we don't need to provide any credential. We can select none as it is. Okay, and then we need to select the branch. So our branch is main branch, so we need to change this branch because by default it comes here as a master, so we'll change it to main. Okay, and here automatically once we'll select that what we can say, once we'll select this pipeline script from SCM as an option, then automatically we get Jenkins file here in script path. So this will refer to the same Jenkins file that is available on our source code repository. Okay, and there is one more option that is by default coming tick. So in this case, checkout automatically taken. We don't need to create a checkout specific stage. So I have created one stage, so that will comment out that stage, because in this example we don't need checkout piece. It will automatically get taken with the help of this by default option. And next thing, that is very important thing, it's an alternative to your webhook piece. So here if we want to get this pipeline triggered automatically, we can enable this poll SCM option. So this poll SCM, what it will do, it will get poll to your source code repository, and you can define at what time it should need to get poll. So if we'll place all 5 asterisk here, so it will poll for every 1 minute. So every minute it will get poll over there, and if it found any changes in the source code repository, any commit has been happened to the repository, automatically it will start executing the build. So here you can see that it is saying, do you really mean every minute when you say star star star? Perhaps you mean h star 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 to poll once per hour. So if you use h star 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 star, then it will do polling every hour, but we want it to get poll every minute, so we are using these 5 asterisks. So there is one question mark that has been mentioned in schedule in front of this schedule, so we can click on it and we can schedule it according to our requirement. Everything is self-explained, and our one good documentation is getting provided once we click on this question mark here. So that I'll show you once we'll do this practically. Okay, and once we just go to this git polling log option, because when we enable that polling SCM, this option will comes along with other options. So once we'll click on this particular option, we can see logs related to polling also. So here this is particular snippet is from log polling, and we can see that it is getting polled every minute and it is not finding any changes, so that's why it will remain idle. If it find any changes, automatically a build will get triggered without any manual intervention to this build now button. Okay guys, so we are done with the theory part and let's do it practically. Okay guys, so this is our Jenkins dashboard and this is our repository. So as of now you are seeing that there is no Jenkins file here. Okay, so let's create one job. So what in our previous videos, or what in our previous use cases, what we were doing, we were just creating a job. So just give a name test and select pipeline and then select OK. Okay, so in that approach, what we were doing, we were using this pipeline script option here. Okay, and then we were placing our code just like this. And when we save it, then if we'll go to dashboard, then this test job got created, and once we'll click on build now button, then it got executed. But suppose if accidentally we delete this pipeline, okay, so now there are no jobs. So along with that job, our code has also gone because it was remaining inside the Jenkins job only, and there is no tracking that why this job got deleted and why that particular code is not available. So we are clueless that what next to do. So second thing, we can say that okay, we are having this particular notepad and we can use it, but somehow if we delete that notepad also, then this code will go and will not be able to retrieve this code back. And second thing is that this notepad is on my local, so only I can have access. But suppose if you are working in a team, then there are multiple people who just want to edit this code, who just want to use this code, but this code is present on my local, not available to all. So that's why this Jenkins file approach comes, and we'll share this Jenkins file on our repository, so that this repository, those who have access to this repository, so they can directly use this particular file, and now code will be available to everyone. So let's now create that particular Jenkins file first. So we'll create one Jenkins file here. So either you can do a touch Jenkins file first and then you can do a VI editor, or we can directly do this VI to Jenkins file. Okay, so now we are inside it. We can go to insert mode. We can copy our complete code and we can paste it here. Okay, now we can use escape mode and we can save it with WQ. So now our file is saved. If we'll do an ls-lrth, so now you can see this Jenkins file is coming here. So as of now, I am on my local folder where I am having all this source code present here. So those who are having some difficulty can refer to my GitHub and Git Bash video. There you can see how I did it and how I make this connection with GitHub to Git Bash. So just refer to that video. So as of now, you can see that I'm having the same code that was there, like these 4 files, and similar code I'm having here on my local, and I have just added one file. And if I'll do a git status, then you can see that it is saying there is one untracked file. So we'll use git add dot command. Okay, now the file has been added. So now we'll do git commit -m, and then we'll give one message here, Jenkins file created. Any message you can give here, there is no restriction to use only this specific message, but I'm using this, so you can also use the same message here. So it is committed now. Now we need to push this file. Okay, so we have pushed this Jenkins file. Let's see on our GitHub portal whether that file has been here or not. Just refresh it. So now you can see Jenkins file came here along with the same comment, the comment that we mentioned over there, and it is also the same comment coming here also along with this commit ID. And if we'll click on this commit ID, then you can see here that it is saying this is particular the main branch on which we have committed the code, and this is the message that we have placed over there, and this is committed just now, and also this is the commit ID for this particular commit. Along with this, it is saying that one file has been changed, which is having 61 additions along with 0 deletions. So all these entry we just added, so you can see this plus sign, plus sign, plus sign, plus sign here. So all 61 entries has been added. So everything is now tracked here, which was missing in our previous approaches. Okay, so now we have our Jenkins file present here. So one thing is done along with this is that now our code is present pipeline as a code on our source code repository. So now let's create one job on Jenkins to use this Jenkins file. So we'll go to new item, then we'll give project name, any name you can give here. Okay, then we can use pipeline as a project type, and then okay, and here we'll go the bottom, and previously we were using this pipeline script as an option. Now we'll use pipeline script from SCM as an option. So automatically you are seeing that things got changed. So in SCM we need to select git first, and then we need to provide our repository URL. So we'll go to our GitHub portal, we'll copy this URL, and then we'll place it here. Okay, URL is here now. So it's a public repository, we don't need to use any credentials here, we can access it without credentials. And next, the branch name, it is coming master, but if we'll go our portal, then the branch is main branch, so we need to change this to main branch. Okay, and once this is done, then Jenkins file is coming and this option is coming by default. So I think we are done with it. Yes, we are done with all these options, so we can save our this job. And if we'll click on build now, so let's see whether it is picking our code or not from git repository. So job has been started with one symbol, and here you are seeing that pipeline has been started and looks like it is working with our code. So in our code, our first stage was installing Maven build tool, so that is done. We have placed one checkout code stage, so that is also done, and it is now compiling the sample application, so that piece is still in progress. So let's wait for some time. This compilation peaks takes some time because at this stage Maven will start downloading the dependencies required in order to compile this code from Repo Central. So Maven Repo Central is basically the central portal that has been provided from Maven side. So first time it will download all the dependencies from Maven Central, and from second time once you will execute this particular build, then those dependencies will be available local to the system, and that time it will not get download from that portal, and if locally available then this step will take less time than that of the build that it takes very first time. So testing of the application is also done, and now it is doing packaging of the application. So packaging is also done. Now it is doing Tomcat prerequisite installation. Okay, so these three steps got failed. So there is one setting that we need to do on our machine in order to make this three steps also green. So that will do. That's not an issue. It was failing in our previous videos also. So I'll do that modification. I'll show you what entry needs to be done in Jenkins machine. So here one thing we need to understand, that we are seeing there are two types of checkout is getting happened, because one checkout was automatically getting done because of this Jenkins file. There was one option where it was doing a lightweight checkout, so there is no need of this checkout code, because in previous videos we were using pipeline script, so there this declarative checkout option was not there. So we'll comment out this particular piece so that double checkout is not getting done. So let's do that piece also, and let's do the modification on our Linux machine first. So let me change Linux machine modification first for Jenkins user, because if we'll go to this particular job, and if we'll go to console output section, and if we'll scroll it till end, so what error we are getting here, that it is saying a terminal is required to read the password, either use -s option to read from standard input or configure an ask pass helper. So basically it asks password for Jenkins, because any job that we execute from Jenkins, then it will execute on particular machine with Jenkins user. So we need to make Jenkins user entry in our sudoers file, so that password is not getting asked for Jenkins user. So let me make that correction. So this is basically our machine where Jenkins has been installed. Okay, so here we need to go this particular file, and here we need to do one entry of Jenkins user here. Okay, and no pass wd colon all. So this is basically the entry, and now it will not ask for password for Jenkins user. So Jenkins all equals to all, and no pass wd colon all. Okay, we'll save this entry now. Okay, this has been saved now. One more thing we need to do is that we need to make changes to our Jenkins file. So we need to comment out that checkout stage entry. So we can go here, and we can make some correction here. Okay, let me come out first. Okay, firstly we need to go to insert mode, and now we need to comment out this particular stage. So what we'll do, we'll just place 2 forward slashes on each line. Okay, this is done, this is done, and this is done. So we have just commented out the complete stage. This is stage, this steps, and here. So now first stage will become install Maven build tool stage. So we'll save it. Okay, and let's do that polling piece also enable, so that once we'll commit this code, then automatically that job will get triggered by self. So let's go to configure section, and here is one option, that is poll SCM option. We can select it, and if we'll click on this help for schedule option, so it will give you complete help related to those 5 stars. So first star, second star, third star, fourth star, fifth star. So first star said that it is for minutes, second for hour, third for date of month, and this is for month, and this is for days of date of or week. This is for particular week. So minutes we can have value from 0 to 59, hour we can have value from 0 to 23, and this day of month we can have 1 to 31st, any date we can mention here. Month we can have 1 to 12, and this day of week we can have 0 to 7, where 0 and 7 represent Sunday. And we can make further more modification. There is a lot of documentation that has been given here. So according to your choice, according to your use case, you can make this entry here. Just like there are some examples mentioned here, every 15 minutes if you want to get this job get polled to SCM, then you can use h/15, so it will execute for every 15 minutes. For every 10 minutes, then you can use this particular piece, and for once every 2 hour at 45 minutes you can use this kind of piece. So multiple examples has been mentioned here, and if you'll scroll down, it is giving time zone specification also. So if you want to execute according to particular time zone, so you can use tz is equals to that time zone. So all the time zones are given here. You can use according to your use case, and in our use case we don't need these particular time zones and anything else. So we'll just place 5 asterisk simply here, because we want to get it polled every 1 minute. Okay, and we can save it. So if we'll go to configure again, so you can see the same message. Do you really want every minute? When you say star 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 star, perhaps you mean that h star 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 to poll once for per hour. So we can make it according to that requirement, but as of now we need it for every minute. So now the changes that we have done here in our file, so we can go for get status. So it is saying one file modified, so we can do a get add piece here. Then we can go to git commit -m, and then we can give some message like Jenkins file modified, or we can write checkout stage commented. Okay, just like this we can give any message. So this is done. Now we can do a get push. Okay, so now our code is pushed, and if we'll see on repository, if we'll refresh it, then if we'll go to Jenkins file, or we don't need to go to Jenkins file, we can go to this particular commit, and here you are seeing that these particular pieces are showing minus 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 minus, because we have just commented out. So all other steps remained same, and only changes to these files, and the new files or the new additions that we did is this forward slashes. So complete thing is now tracked in the form of this versioning that has been provided from this source code repository. And now if we'll go to Jenkins, and here we can wait, because polling, you are seeing this git polling log. So as of now it polled in the previous minute and it found no changes, but we have made changes, so it will poll again and we'll see what will happen. Okay, now you can see that it polled again and found out some change, and automatically the job got triggered. Now you can see automatically this job got triggered because of that git polling option. And now you can see one more difference, like it is doing declarative checkout SCM and that checkout stage is not getting populated here. So we are good with the settings that we did. And if we'll go to git polling log and you said that it is saying done, it took 0.82 second and changes found. And that was the change that we did over there to that branch, and it is giving that commit ID also C29C. So if we'll see here C29C816, so similar thing it is showing C29C816. So this is the particular commit it has just found out and it triggered out that job. So we are seeing that job has been completed. So now you can see that it is complete green. So the entry that we made for Jenkins user in Linux machine, that has also been working. So we are good with that thing. So now let's access our Tomcat portal. So I have changed port from 8080 to 8081. So let me access that portal. Okay, so Tomcat has been installed now. If we'll go to manager app, it will ask for credential. So guys, those who are not understanding this example, I have created separate videos previously. So just refer to those videos where I have clearly explained the code, step by step creation of pipeline I have explained, and what this code is doing, and how every stage is getting done. Everything I have showed in that example. So just refer to those videos. Okay, now I'm inside Tomcat portal and this was our application address book, so we can access it. So this is basically an application where we can do entry of a particular person and that will get stored in this particular address book. So we can go here, we can give any name like first name and last name and any number. There is no checking enabled, so we can make any number here, and any email we can give here, just like anything you can give. So there is no checking, it is just a sample application. So we can give any date and then we can do save. So now you can see that this entry is coming here, first name last name with that ID. So this was the basic application which I picked up from internet. So it was a good example, so I used in my this particular demo also. So guys, in this way we learned that how we can create Jenkins file and why it is useful, and how in our live projects we use only this approach rather to any other approach. So guys, I hope you liked this video and I'll see you in my next video.